And what's up? We going live. That's right. It's your boy Coach A once again. Hope everybody doing well. It's the Thursday night live. Awesome show for you tonight. We're here grooving. Come on in right now. Let me go ahead and share it. All right, just had to go ahead and share that. What's up? I got a couple people joined in. Hope y'all having an awesome Thursday. It's been raining a lot over here. It's supposed to be the sunshine state. It's supposed to be sunny all day, but it's tripping, So I got my homeboy, one of my friends from college. We stayed together. I got him coming on the show today. Talk about his business. He's been doing a lot of traveling and stuff. So how you been doing? Don't forget to chime in, leave a comment. Let me know how you been doing on Thursday for sure. We're going to wait a couple more minutes, make sure we get some more people to join in on the groove. Yeah. That's how we doing. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know you stopped by. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Just to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about it today for sure. Matter of fact, let's get into some of this news. I see my homie grooving in the studio right now. Yes, sir. So just to cap on a little news, I put some stuff together for you today. First of all, Governor Cuomo, right? Sexual harassment. Really? So again, it just shows that, a lot of times when you get in power, I know people say that money and power corrupts people, but in actuality, money and power doesn't corrupt. It just reveals what may have already been inside that person. And so it's just crazy how another person that, reached like the pinnacle of their career, and now they under allegations for sexual assault and stuff like that. And it's just real sad that, when we get put in these power positions that we just don't know how to maintain it. And so one of the things I always teach is that your character is the glue that holds your potential. It holds your career in place. So you can reach the highest level of any field. But if you don't have the character to maintain it, it's going to bring you down. So that's real important that you understand that you have to maintain good character. And the thing about good character is that you can't get to the top and then become a good person. You have to train yourself on the way up. You have to train yourself to have good character on the way up. Right. So what else we got? Another thing we got in the news is we have a principal, a little young principal who has some anniversary pictures. And so now they've been getting on him about taking his pictures off. So I want to put that up. Let me show y'all what these pictures look like. Look at that. Look at that little young principal right there. So obviously he's, the staff and whoever it is that he's been working with has been, getting on him about taking these pictures off because of that. So leave a comment. Let me know what you feel about that. Me personally, I think that, as sad as it is, I think that our educational staff like teachers and principals should be held at a bit higher standard because they're with our kids more often. And so, it's going to be pretty awkward. You have your kids in there, after looking at these pictures or looking at these photos, and then now they got to look at the teacher or, deal with the principal all day and stuff like that. I think it can be kind of awkward. So, rightfully so, if you, deem yourself as an educator or a coach or whatnot, and you dealing with kids on a regular basis, I think you probably should be judged at a little bit higher standard, and so people may, they may feel some type of way about it for sure. They may feel some type of way. So you just have to really keep that in mind. I don't think it's too much to ask for, as like I said, education is important. So it takes full concentration. And so if you got a mixed up personal life, then, it can be, not disrupting, but distracting to some of the kids that's trying to learn. So, again, I think it's quite important that we, as educators, make sure that we're doing the right thing at all times. And, people going to look at that for sure. So being that we're in the podcast era, right? Like after, going through last year, podcast shot up, the percentage shot up out the roof. Everybody's doing podcasts, even me, right now. And so what I find it very interesting is that when you're doing a podcast, you only see the top half of the person, right? So we got some podcast models. How about this? You never know, these are some podcast models right here. Bottom half is shorts, pajama pants and sandals. Top half is business suits, right? So I think that's kind of cool because, it's making us all lazy. You never know what that person is looking like underneath. So just imagine you have a job interview, right? You got a job interview. And so he said, we're going to do a Zoom call, because some people have done some Zoom calls for their job interviews. And so you dress nice at the top half, and here you are doing a job interview. And this is what your potential boss looks like. Christmas lights, and you got some big hairy legs and sandals, and he on the other end dictating, deciding if he's gonna hire you or not. Ain't that funny? Or what about if you in school, right? What about if you in school and your professor, you have a teacher that you have to do a Zoom call with to get the lesson, or a tutor or whatnot, and this is what she looked like. Yeah, here she is all professional up top, and she got the drawers at the bottom. She got business vest and drawers on. So Crocs. She also got some Crocs on too. So you never know what that person looked like when they're doing a podcast. In fact, I think at JCPenney's, they have a sale going on, half off right here. Look, you got some JCPenney podcast models right there. Half off, half on top, half at the bottom. You just pay for the tops. So yeah, that's my take on the new podcast era. So first of all, before we can go any further, already know we got to get the elephant out the room, right? I done went through all these people on their podcast, and you're probably thinking, what do Coach A got on? So I'm gonna show you. I'm fully dressed. See, I got the shoes to match. Of course, I knew I was going to be talking about this, so I went all the way in. But yeah, and you can tell Coach A is old. I really had to pull my leg up for you to see my shoes for sure. So we're going to go ahead. Everybody that's tuned in, I'm going to go ahead and kick this intro, and we're going to get into it. On the other side, we got my man Satori is going to be here. We're going to be hollering at him, seeing all the stuff he's got going on. He's an author. He's a poet. He's also a wisdom coach and a therapist for sure. So let me go ahead and hit this intro, and I'll see you guys on the other end. What's up, man?
It's good, bro. It's good.
Yes, sir. I got the big homie in the building.
So Coach A. Coach A Mays.
Coach A Mays. So look, man, it's been a while. A lot of people don't know, we got big time history, man. That's one of the main reasons why I brought you on here. We used to stay together when we was in college.
Right.
Back in the day. Hey, it's funny, man. Hey, listen, it's funny. Do you listen? I laugh about it all the time because back then, people don't know that I was the 24-hour drug dealer. Hey, don't judge. We all got our past. But yeah, I was a 24-hour the 24-hour weed man. I didn't know what I was doing. I needed some money. And so I figured I was going to try to sell some weed that I just bought. So, so I made my little $10. I was worried too, man. I thought the feds was going to kick in the door and take my little $10 for sure, man. That was enough for me. I was done. You probably don't even remember that, do you?
I mean, when you bring it back up, I remember it.
Man, I was going around asking everybody, "How much you think I can get $10 for this? How much you think this worth? How much you think this worth?" It was crazy, man. A little nervous.
Oh my God.
Yes. But look, man,
Oh my God.
I really appreciate you guys that time because, I had got kicked out of the place I was staying in and I literally ain't had no place to go. And you guys just, welcomed me in and it was just a party ever since, man, just balling.
Right. It's all love, man.
You have some major hops too, man. I used to tell you, man, just dunk on them, man. Why you trying to lay it up, man? You just dunk on them.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So
you always just challenge me.
Yes, exactly, man. So you was always cool back then for sure. You was always the instant type of guy back then, Mr. Smooth. So, but in all that time, we never really got a chance to know each other deeply like that. So I don't really know anything about your background, So tell me about your background. Did you have both your parents in your life or, was it a single parent? Tell me about how it was coming up. Springfield, right? You from Springfield, Ohio.
Well, originally, I'm not from Springfield. I grew up in Springfield. I'm originally from South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So I'm born, so I'm a Southern dude. So I'm born out of Columbia, South Carolina. And I, lived there for a little bit. Then I lived in Chicago a little bit. Then I moved to Springfield when I was probably around 11 years old. And so I've been in Springfield since then. And basically, my parents were, the first half was my parents were together. Then, of course, they got divorced. It was a very visible divorce. My father's a public figure, and at the time, so it was a very visible and kind of, noticeable type of divorce. So that's how I ended up being in Springfield because he relocated there to help run the city. My father used to be the city manager in Springfield, Ohio. So, but prior to that, we was on the outskirts of Chicago in Carbondale, Illinois. And then he was like an assistant city manager stuff there. So I kind of lived in some different spots growing up. But then, of course, like you said, in Springfield, it's because, I went and kind of just grew up at it and then went to high school and then left there and kind of went to college and so forth. Yeah, so, yep.
So you had a I remember you telling me that you was getting ready to switch over full time as far as your business and you wasn't doing hourly. Did that actually happen?
Yes.
So first of all, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, full fledged, which I already was. You already know that already was, but I just went ahead and just laid down all the little different side projects and all that kind of stuff. And just went ahead and full fledged, so full fledged entrepreneur, doing the thing, man. You know what I mean? Just it's a good thing.
Yeah, and you got a lot of stuff going on. You got products, you got a product line, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your product line.
So I got the Wisdom Therapeutics herbal therapy line, and so I have all herbal drops and stuff that deals with a variety of different situations and conditions. So we view the herbal therapy as a part of my practice. And so we're very, I encourage people to be into preventive health. If they need to do maintenance, or you can also use herbs for curative ability or for vitality. Mm-hmm. And so just centering around those four different focuses, We just believe that there's natural means that can kind of take care of us by using the plants. As you're a man of scripture. It talks about give our herbs for the healing of the nations, the healing of the communities, the healing of the tribes, the healing of people. Mm-hmm. And so I believe very strongly in that. And so because of that belief, it kind of inspired me to create herbal formulas and herbal combinations to kind of center around different things that might be facing people, such as like some might be dealing with type 2 diabetes. We have sugar cell for that. People, detox reasons. We have Nutritox and a whole package for that. And people multivitamin needs. We got B Life and Wisdom. And so we got a variety of different things, almost herbal, all these formulas, they're trademarked. So I'm kind of happy about that, so we're just waiting for, I'm actually on the last leg waiting for that stuff to come through. So we're trademark. We also have a whole distribution team we kind of put together this year. So I'm kind of thankful for people that believe in the product and they're sharing it with their family and friends. So we believe in moving the product through people. I'm not really concerned with moving in retail stores. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of great testimonies. People just and how's it benefiting them. Some people has actually lessened using maybe allopathic medicine, that was the medicine that we're used to. And some people actually just came off the medicine completely and they just supplement and utilize some of the wisdom therapeutic products. So with that in mind, that just creates opportunities. So we have people that are distributors and we get them an incentive for being a part of the whole team and sharing family and friends. And then also people have opportunity to make passive income. So I just built, a whole practice and a whole system around my value system, things you talk a lot about on your different podcasts. And so I know you advocate among the young men that you mentor. So so that's one product line. I also have some books, out there. One book, the most popular book out there is called Satori Unwrapped. It's a poetry book. And, so that's been out there written a couple of years ago. Can you still hear me? I know this wind's blowing.
It's hard to hear you with that wind.
Hold on. Let me readjust. My fault. Let's readjust this joint. Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Okay, cool. Yeah. So one of the things, yeah. All right. So one of the things is, so with those products.
Oh, we just lost the dude altogether. So he'll probably jump back on in a minute. We're talking about some of his herbal products. He has a website. I mean, he has a website, but he also has a app, Satori Wisdom app. So hopefully when you come back up, let me see if I can. All right, there you go.
Oh yeah, that was strange. My fault.
Okay,
I know it. Okay, yeah. So, I got products, herbal therapy. We probably got almost like 30 different formulas. I got some books that I've written. Also have, empowerment courses, wisdom courses. Stuff like on love is forgiveness. Love is growth. Perceptive truth. Surety. Now, it's got a variety of different things. See your lover. So I cover a lot of different areas on that in terms of the wisdom coach and the wisdom, life consulting stuff. Got a new book I'm actually working on, hopefully later on this year, called Immunity from Difficulties. And then I'm also working on a project right now called, the Path to Forgiveness. So, I got a variety of different products, man. And then, of course, my poetry, my Poetic Grooves, album and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, I got some of that. We're gonna get into some of your poetry music. I got some of the little snippets that we'll play for the people. With your Barry White smooth talking self. So how did you get into that, dog? I mean, this ain't nothing like the college guy that I know. Or was it always there, but it was just hidden?
It was always there. It was always there. I always had an appreciation for, for music. You remember, man, I had a wide range of tastes of music.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that.
Oh yes. Yeah. I remember every day we play, and I made sure I downloaded and kept it just to reminisce the freaking silent treatment. Girl, you know why you giving me the silent treatment, baby. Every day we had that on repeat, man. That was our theme music. Shout out
Oh,
to shout out to Akalana, right? And
yeah. Akalana,
and
yeah.
not Chris. What was his name? And was your cousin, right?
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah,
Aaron. Aaron,
Tom,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron, Tommy, and just
exactly.
Taiwan. There's a lot of brothers, man.
So you
Yeah.
so you said it's always been there, right? So
It's always been there.
at what point did you decide to pursue it like full time? And you're like, you know what, I'm making this, part of my life and my business.
One thing is, I have a spiritual background, and so in my 20s, 30s, I just saw a different way to express and convey messages and things like that. So I was always into public speaking and motivational speaking, but I also had a poetic side to me too. I was kind of like a closet poet, basically. I used to just have journals and different stuff. Even back then when we were cool, I would have different, you remember when we get high, I'd be philosophical, on some other type stuff. So, so I was really on some poetic
Dude,
thoughts.
the public don't know I got high before, man. That was like a moment you just
You was
shared with.
watching us. You was watching us. You was watching us. You used to watch us and laugh at us.
Dog.
Saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I used to watch all the time, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then at time when I lost my job and my car broke down, and I was sitting there, and I was like, and it was like, oh, Adrian ain't skipping this time. I was like, nope, I ain't skipping.
Yeah.
The world is coming down. So anyhow, at what age, man? What age did you decide? You know what? I'm pursuing this, and I'm gonna make this a not only just a journey for myself, but to inspire other people.
I say I made it intentionally to start bringing out my poetry. I was in my 30s. I was. I want to say I was already trying to entertain. I was doing little poetry sharing, but I say intentionally. I say when I was probably about like 36. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate. I didn't really realize a lot of people really were just digging my poetry in terms of my written poetry I had and stuff. And so it started kind of really getting popular, and people were just really saying, because I cover a lot of things in my poetry, and and women were able and men were able to pull just different stuff out of it. I would put lessons, so I was kind of like some people call me like the modern day Rummy. It was one of my favorite poets, because he was a wisdom guy or a mystic, but he wrote poetry, and the poetry has so many life lessons and things in it. I wasn't a Shakespeare type of guy, so I didn't care about that kind of stuff. But Rummy was really someone that really inspired me. And so a lot of people were able to take my poetry the same way. They were kind of taking them like scriptures, you know what I'm saying? They was like, oh man, this thing I could relate, da 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 da. And so I began to use that. So about 36, I realized really intentionally I could use poetry to convey different spiritual messages and different life messages and different insights about ourselves, about relationships, and various things about our own personal being. And so that's what led me to, of course, I've written books, like some of my famous book is Satori on rap, and then conveying that to other different stuff, man. It's another way of expression,
So do you got some on hand?
Yeah, Satori on rap. Yeah, they can go to my app. It's on Amazon too.
No, I'm
right there on my app.
You got one now. You got one off on your head. I got some music. I know how you get down.
So we could, I mean, you know, I could drop a little something, like, you know, if you need me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
We could be mesmerized. Take 2 times and rhyme and think about the time when your thoughts will be able to rewind and unwind and realize. I'm fooling around, man.
That was good. That was good. That's good.
You know,
Put you on the spot.
normally I do freestyle and stuff like that, but I'm just I'm clowning. But
I put you on the spot, man. I put you on the spot. So good. So you got a book that's coming out, right? And you already have, how many you got written so far?
Man, I forgot. I mean, overall, I have written 6 books. But the 2 that are active right now one is called Communalology, and the other one's Satori on Rap. And then I got a 3rd one coming out this year. Like I said, Muted from Difficulties. And then I got another book I'm going to bring shortly after that called Confessions from Men. So that's a book that's mixed with poetry and music. So lessons from men. So it's really help women to get insight into about men and our thoughts about purposeful men that really has a sense of direction about themselves. And I'm also conveying it in poetry. So you're getting poetry, then you're getting straight wisdom, insights, you know, from men and stuff like that, you know, coming from me, just bringing it across.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the path to forgiveness, which I think is very important practice, you know, so. Why?
Go ahead and elaborate a little bit on that. Why is path to forgiveness? Why is that important?
Here's the thing, man. When you look at society, you look at our relationships, you look at different things that we go through, and if you really break it all down, you can see is the conflicts really revolve around unforgiveness. You look at a lot of people under the theme of love. People die, but I haven't seen anyone die yet for forgiving. And then I pointed to say this: love doesn't exist without forgiveness. When you can love more, you can forgive more. When you forgive less, you love less. And I also say, and love don't exist without truth. So there's a triangle. There's a love, truth, and forgiveness that exists. And so if we're really going to truly be into align ourselves with love and bring about love and exchange love, then we're going to have to visit the truth, and we're going to have to be able to practice and implement, you know, forgiveness. And number one, forgiveness keeps our intentions and our motives in check. You know, keep us in perspective and keep us, you know, be, you know, real clear. You know, a lot of times we can get, you know, different things come up. We can get bitter. We could develop some resentments, or we feel in some kind of way. But forgiveness allows us to kind of just lay all that down and get neutral, and to recognize what's really happening, not just from our own point of view, but also the other party or other people that's really involved. So we can try to be able to see each other and come to an understanding. When there's understanding, there's more opportunity for peace. So forgiveness is a bridge to a lot of that stuff. So that's why it's really important. So I'm gonna be tapping in that's what I've really been known well for. Scratching the claps. Yeah. So one of the things is that with the I used to do a lot of workshops and things in the past. I was also known for that too. And one of the things I was going on is called the Paradigm of Forgiveness. So I have a whole forgiveness model. I also had a private group centered around that as well too, taking people through the process, the various different processes and the phases, you know, of forgiveness. And so a lot of people was like, man, you got to really write a book. You really got to write a workbook. This is like a hallmark of you in the works you have, because it has helped a lot of people. It has reconciled a lot of relationships. And let me just say this on track, because when we say forgiveness, we come from a really religious standpoint, really dug deep into forgiveness. And we think that forgiveness allows abuse. We think forgiveness allows you to be able to take harm and to allow it. And I tell people real quickly that there's different goals of forgiveness. And one of the goals of forgiveness is detachment. So I just want to say that on air, because I know people listening, they think, well, some situations you have to be able to detach. And the detachment, though, also requirement upon us to not harbor ill will to those that we have offense with or have bad dealings with. So long as our heart is clear and we're not having this evil eye, right? towards somebody, or this counter ulterior motives against someone to hurt them, then we're cool. But if we are harboring that and say we're detaching, then you're not operating in true forgiveness.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I call
So
it.
that's something to bring out.
I call it the acid test.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes. If you can hear that person's name, right, and not feel some type of way towards that person, then you in true forgiveness, you clear. But if you hear that person's name or about that person and you feel some type of way, right, then you got some more work to do. You got some more.
Sir.
So that's good.
Like
Forgiveness is important for sure. It's definitely important, especially as men too, because but I feel like men forgive better than women. Women, I think, don't you think women hold more grudges than men do? Men can get over stuff and just forget about it, be like, oh, whatever, and just move on with their life because of how we built. But women sometimes, sometimes they go through a lot more.
Yeah, well, we process differently.
Yeah.
And then also, men, we can get past some stuff, but then we ain't really got over it either. We just understand to move on, but we're still harboring different things. So, so on the surface, it looks like, women deal with it. Men just have, we're more quick and apt to be like, okay, let me go another direction, even though we still might be feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
But we won't keep it alive. We'll kill the cat and let bygones be bygones, but women, so we're still equal, just depending on what angle,
exactly.
How we're going to look at it. Yeah.
Gotcha. So how did you get into being you're a therapist, right? I forget what it's called. You got so many titles, man. Crazy. I got of course, you're the wisdom coach, poet, author, and then Soma, Veda, Thai, yoga therapist. What is that?
Yeah, so I'm a Thai yoga therapist. I'm internationally certified as a Thai yoga therapist, and I went to Soma Veda Natural College. It has connections in Wat Po in Thailand. And so you tap into the actual natural yogi therapy, yogi psychology, the yogi approach. Some people are familiar with Ayurveda, the wellness system. And so a lot of people over here in our culture, we understand how important body work is and stuff like that. But part of being the Thai yoga therapy is the energy body work that I provide, which is called the Wisdom Zen, body work, which one of the connections I have is from the Thai yoga therapy or, yoga therapy and some other different modalities that I've learned and trained into. And so that's basically, so the Thai yoga therapy is an aspect of therapy to help restore people, to rehabilitate people, to bring a sense of compassion, love, and kindness to people through the art of touch. We call it chirothesia, and is becoming the loving hand, the extending hand of God, basically, and being able to use the art of touch, the science of touch, to really bring about wellness. And so that's one of the aspects in it. Then also in terms of nutrition and dealing with food, we're just looking at all different things, basically how to build a culture of wellness for yourself. And so that's what I do. So that involves with thought therapy. When you look at thought therapy, wellness, herbs, energy, physical body work. A lot of people don't realize in our culture, everything is separated. But when you go over into other countries, before they start doing invasive type of options like surgery and stuff like that, they will steer you to the non-invasive options, which is like the body work. And so when you go like to Thailand, they're going to really subscribe you to receiving a series of Thai yoga therapy. Or if you go like in China, shiatsu or traditional Chinese medicine, before you're going to go through a series of these different options first for your wellness, for your own personal well-being. Because a lot of things can be eliminated through really good therapeutic energy body work. And a lot of people in our country really don't understand that,
right.
So You know, they really don't. It's an ignorance with it. So they see my works and be kind of looking like, well, what's really going on? But you see all these gamut of testimonies, you know, that I have because of the effects of me being, you know, a wisdom therapist.
So speaking of your works, let's take a look at it. I got some right here. So tell me about that particular session there. What was you aiming for?
What you want to notice is the obvious. You see the obvious stretch, which help open up the the hamstring. Actually, the person working on, she was actually a yogi, so that's we saw she had a lot of extended flexibility, but also to keep her cool in her practice, you know, was making sure her hamstrings was really open and stuff like that. But then also you probably subtly noticed me around her back, and was also doing a lumbar release. So sometimes people have lower lumbar tightness and stuff like that, or they might need an adjustment. And so that's what I was also providing, is opening up the lower back area from the L5, through the L1 to open up that whole lumbar area to unlock that as well too, which then kind of opens up some different things in the body as well too. Then you saw on the leg where I was working some of the meridians points right there around by the knee to help open up the flow of the energy through the meridian lines to kind of flow through her growing and things like that as well too. So there's a lot being done in that little video.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I feel like you mentioned it before, like, our culture here is a lot of misunderstanding around it. So do you catch a lot of flack for that? I know you have a lot of testimonials. I've seen them and read them. You have an app. You have an app that's out where, people can keep up with your schedule. They can order your products and stuff like that. Satori's wisdom app that's out. But aside from, and granted, I looked at some videos and you do work with men. I did see some guys. The only reason I didn't get that guy because he has some busted toes. I wasn't gonna do that to you. Still my dude now. You still my dude. That dude, he has some busted toes. I was like, but yeah, so what do you say to people that, that look at it and feel like, what is that? Some of the, what's the main questions that you get from people or pushback from people in our culture?
The pushback, I don't really get that no more. I've been doing it so long, so I'm kind of above it. But and people at this point, if people really coming from a serious inquiry, then I'll explain, what it is. It's like integrated body manipulation. Is kind of like a combination of a lot of things. So you get in one minute you feel like you're doing yoga, another minute you feel like you're in meditation, another minute you feel like you're receiving chiropractic type of benefits. Another minute, you feel like you're doing Tai Chi. Another minute you feel like, so there's a lot of different things that's going on the technical side. And I just kind of explain it because I could say a lot of things, but until you really experience it, it's really going to be hard for you to really fully fathom what's really going on, because it's really beyond a massage. It is really, you're receiving a manual body work. And so it's a treatment. So sessions with me are treatments. And sometimes people have different things going on. Like, the obvious thing, somebody need, like I said, they might have a lot of back issues. They might have neck pain and things like that. So they come to me and they experience pain relief. Some people keeping a regular regimen to maintain the pain relief. Some people have like certain diseases, chronic, like fibromyalgia, lupus, and so forth. And they find coming to my type of treatments to really help them and maintain their wellness and well-being in life. And so there's a variety of different things. Some people need emotional release. Some people need like, energy activation, just on so forth. So that's pretty much what I do. But I don't get, at this point, man, I don't get caught up in trying to explain myself. I ain't got to, man. I'm a goat. So I mean, for real, you know what I mean? I got
Yeah.
over 400 some testimonies. I got my own app, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got my own following and different things going on. So at this point, I really got to answer to you. I got receipts, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's just how I roll, so.
Yeah. And how the world is, how the creator made the universe. Like if you're not doing what you say you can do, or if you're not being positive, it's going to come back to you. You know what I'm saying? I believe that truly it's going to come
Exactly.
back to you. So, you just have to watch that. I know personally, I tried some of the techniques on my wife. All right. I'm just saying I tried, and that's why she ended up pregnant now. So, I got you to thank for that. Here I am, almost 50, and we finna have a baby in November. So there you go.
You opened her up. You opened her up.
It's your fault. So listen, I got one more. I got one more of these technique videos that you got. This one is something I remembered playing around with my little sister doing this, but obviously it's a technique. I want to let the people know: do not try these. These as a trained professional. Do not try this at home on nobody. So again, on that one, it looks like a little spine, doing some spine work. Tell me what you're
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. So I'm really targeting the spinal health. And um, so really giving a traction. Well, I mean, I'm doing a traction, and the other one doing a decompression to kind of open up the spine, some of the vertebrae, and kind of just separating, allowing the fluids to kind of get through there and allow it to kind of realign. So there's and it's not we call them like passive adjustments. So in other words, I spend time working the body to the point where the body can reset itself to position itself to realign. And
Mm-hmm.
so all those different movements and things that I'm doing is allowing me to kind of set the body up for the different adjustments. So I want to target in on those things. It can happen, and it feels joyous and pleasant, to the client or whatever. And so also in that, you saw me is also benefiting the hips. A lot of, especially with women, a lot of times they have children, things like that. They kind of, their hip mobility kind of gets affected. And so there's just various different techniques to do, to kind of help open up those hips, align with that. And then also indirectly is also benefiting the neck because it's also giving like a cervical type of release a little bit from different odd things I was doing in there, but you got to experience to know what I'm talking about. But yes, so basically from, the cervical down to the lumbar is actually was benefiting, and doing a spinal twist, which is also a detox effect on the body as well too. So some of the organs get stimulated by me working some of those points for people and stuff like that. So like one of the key points right there is around the kidneys or whatever. And also I didn't in that snippet right there, but I could take that and go into and target to help benefit the sciatic. A lot of people talk about sciatic pain and things like that. So when you're able to release the lower lumbar and you kind of get some things in the hip, and then also open up some other things like in the glutes. You kind of can really relieve and release the entrapment of that sciatic nerve. And so that's what a lot of these things are really therapeutic and technique,
You and you know, you deal with women, people, period, of different sizes. So I would imagine you have to change your technique if you have a larger
Yes.
person. And so
Yes.
I
Yes.
have noticed, like I said, I looked at, several videos. Most of the videos are longer. They like 4 or 5 minutes. So I wasn't going to, get any of those. But in that, like I said, I saw men and women. So you do work with both. But I just noticed that, obviously when you have a larger individual, you have to change the technique a little bit. So
Yeah. It's never the exact same way. So it's not like when you come to a session with me, it's not like the same script, because the body needs something different a lot of times, or people might be in a different mental state, might be in a different emotional state. And so it depends what they're also open to kind of receive, and also what their body's willing to allow at that moment. So it just, so I'm always adjusting. So there's a wide range. That's what you see in my videos. You see me doing a wide range of things.
mm-hmm.
1 minute I got someone doing up in the air, another minute I'm looking like I'm on some straight clinical look, another minute, you know what I'm saying? It's just,
I saw you working on doing the neck, like behind, because you have a chair routine that you're doing something behind the neck. I'm like, I need to learn how to do that for sure.
I'm gonna be doing some workshops actually starting in January, and I'm actually gonna release an online course showing some things about the neck and relieving, so people can use it with your mate or help each other kind of relieve tension and things like that. So I got some other things in the works as usual.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So listen, man, I want you to stick around because I have a segment that I call Ask Coach that I'm getting ready to jump in right now. So in this, my segment where I call Ask Coach, I'm gonna pull up I got a post off of Facebook. So let me pull it up. There we go. So this particular one, it says, I lost everything I had and now I don't know what to do. So this one is short and sweet. So I would imagine that, there are a lot of people that have been through this, at some point in their life. Even myself at one point, fresh off of, we just got married and we ended up getting evicted. Some things went wrong with the business and I couldn't afford the house we was renting at the time. And so here I am, I have this new bride and now we got to find a place to go. I had to borrow $400 to move into like a 1-bedroom apartment for us at this particular time. So, it's not uncommon that life hits us, things happen where you lose everything that you have. So the most important thing is not to panic. Realize that God created these strong individuals on earth. They're called humans, and we can take a lot more than you think we can. Emotionally, physically, we can. And so if you don't panic and just begin to think, direct your thoughts on what you need to accomplish, you'll see that you'll come up with different ideas. It could be in the area of, maybe you need to hit somebody up for a specific amount of money, or maybe there's a job you need to go to and talk to this person about working here, or whatever it is. If you really concentrate and focus on it, you'll get that. It'll come to your mind, because we all been through this situation where we've lost things. So Satori, what about you, brother? What do you say on that? Somebody come to you and and that particular message right there, they lost everything and they don't know what to do. What would you tell that person?
Be willing to begin, be willing to reset. When you go through something like that, the first thing you have to do is get neutral. And get neutral, get clear, and recognize what is actually happening versus what you think should be happening. Look at that and then inspect your own foundation. So make sure, because you can't flourish without your foundation. Your foundation will follow you whatever you need to do. So a lot of times we go through these hard times and these conflicts or the disruption in life, it's a time to get low. I like to say, get low, make sure the ground's under your feet. Don't try to go run, dance and run in the clouds because eventually you're going to fall, right? So you got to make sure you reestablish your base, and then also observe relationships, things, everything that might be contributing to what has happened or whatever, and put everything in its proper context, in its proper category or whatever it is. And then you got to take the courage, man. You got to be willing to reinvent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And take and be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Try to his best. Well, and this is why I bring up my book on immunity from difficulties. Is you got to have hope. You got to have hope. Hope. When you have hope, you make not ashamed. So when you're dealing with the shame or whatever is going on, you got to have hope, because when the hope gets dim, it's hard for you to overcome. It's hard for you to triumph in your situation that's facing you. So you got to get grounded, and you got to embrace the hope, the realistic hope, and then apply faith to that to move, so you better move yourself out of that with the proper actions, the corresponding actions related to where you want to go. Not focus on the problem that's got you emotionally disturbed, but focus on where you need to go. Exactly. And don't worry about the crowd. Don't worry about the crowds. They might not see what you see, but you have to move in that direction and be willing to begin.
Exactly. That's good. That's good, man. So listen, I do got some of your music up here. Let me know can you hear this?
Words can't express enough.
Yeah.
I learned that love is a journey.
Love the journey.
Love is a journey.
Honestly, capture me. See, baby, unto you, I grow patience with. And with you.
Learning you as my tempting lesson. Rehearsing our intoxicating blend. Renewing one another's desires. Let's touch.
Can't stop your touch.
Can't stop your touch. Can't stop your touch.
Can't stop your touch. Can't stop your touch. Can't stop your touch. Can't stop your touch.
That's you all the way.
In a slender gallant walk, you allow your aroma to touch me before you greeted me with your
tease.
Tease of taste with an aphrodisiac appeal.
Blueberry coffee.
Call the warm from roasting with heat. You arouse my palate, a desire to feed.
This one is He Knows What Love Is.
He sipped tea with no teacups. He tasted tea without any tea. In his thirst, he felt love is. He had kisses with no lips, searching for lips to kiss. He couldn't find any. And life's cold, his soul was cold. He was absent of kisses. Without any kisses, he felt love is. Grasping for breath to have no respiration. He was once living life without a respirator. Fires of life, he felt.
Man, that's dope, man. Who's putting the music together too?
Well, I wrote everything in there. The music composition that you heard right there, He Know What Love Is by Daniel J. This old school cat down in the Atlanta area. We was able to connect, and he was able to bless me with live instrumentation. Blueberry Coffee was by Daniel J. as well, live instrumentation. And then also I'm a Recluse was done by Daniel J., his live composition. And then the other different tracks, I was working with Fasol, a cat from France. And he creates, just some awesome, really good beats and stuff like that. So I was able to, partner with M Fasol. And so for the music and the sound, stuff like that. And then also people with the engineer, Craig Winfrey, and also my daughter. My daughter actually helped, because she's involved in music, and she actually helped to master some tracks for me too on this album. So I'm kind of proud of that. She is a graduate from Full Sail University. So she's down in the Florida area near you. And then also I have to give much shout out to Mike Smith, who really helped me bring this project to really to life. And then also Roxy Wolf as well, to lending her vocals, and just her at the time, just the encouragement to be able just to really bring this poetry into this musical form, so, and then, and mystery, Carla Willis, as well. And just, so yeah, there's a lot of different things behind this, man. So, but I wrote this whole album, produced it and all that stuff, myself.
Wow. So that's good, man. And so that's the new one, right?
Yeah.
I know a couple of the songs you had before that you put on there, like the
Yeah.
Blueberry Coffee. I heard that one before.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's cool because it's not a whole, at least I don't hear a whole lot of that music, the poetry over music that much. Now it's just a bunch of rapping
Right.
and a bunch of junk people saying. So,
I try to bring back. There was a sister named Ursula Rucker back in the day, and she was spoken word and did over. I mean, it was awesome what she did. And I remember, Gil Scott Heron, the Revolution, the Dead Poets, and some from back in the day. So that's when I was kind of my Chicago influence. You had cats that would bebop on the corner and just had, and just be dropping poetic thought and stuff like that, but conveying messages. So I kind of wanted to kind of capture that and bring it back in today's time. So we remember Flowetry when it came out, and I was like, this is a little different, but now I'm letting the poetry lead then versus the music, but allowing the music to be able to follow what the poetry is. So we kind of reversed it on this project and kind of want to just tap into that, so I'm pleased with it, man. I'm actually kind of thinking about doing exclusively to have it also available on vinyl.
Yeah.
Vinyl. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yes, we can scratch with it.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, man, keep it up for sure, man. There's always, one thing that I realize is that, if one person is not in your market, there's always 10 other people that is. And so, we don't need to stop just because 2 or 3 people are not interested in what we're doing, because it's not for them anyway. So I learned that.
Exactly.
Keep that. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with you, that, a lot of times, you can be misunderstood, but people need to, they either have a conversation with you or learn about you or whatever the situation is, but you might not be for everybody. That's the bottom line. You might not be for everybody. And so definitely the people that you are for, there's you're 4.9 stars. So, but you my dude for sure, man. Exactly. So, thank you so much, man, for jumping on and just chopping it up with me, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, man, seriously, anytime, man. Anytime when you put me back on, man, and talk about different thoughts, just let me know, man. It's all good. Appreciate it.
Exactly. I'm going to do that to you, man. So go ahead, man. You enjoy the rest of your night, man. And I'll get at you later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was awesome. Talking to my boy. Talking to my man. Let me hit this. So it's just, obviously his level of therapy is not for everybody. I definitely wouldn't, I wouldn't send my wife there, not that I don't trust him or don't trust her, but, she's just real picky. So, but you just have to understand the individual that you're dealing with for sure. And so, and I know him, like I said, I went to school with him, so he's a close friend of mine. Doing big things. He got a book that's out. Got another book that's coming out. Got an album. And so he's a wisdom coach. He always have a lot of videos where, he's teaching inspiring messages and stuff like that. So, definitely a cool dude. But back to you, right? What do you got going on in your life? Make sure you hold on to your dream. Make sure you maintain your character. We talked about that earlier today. Make sure you focus on what you need to do, fulfilling your goals so that you can make an impact for sure. And don't worry about what they're doing on the left. Don't worry about what they're doing on the right. You just focus on what you got, what your plans are, what God has in store for you. make sure you go after it with all you can and don't give it up. And that's how you make an impact. And so until the next time, it's your boy Coach A, and I'm going to be out of here. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.